Good morning, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the warm welcome. And just let me start by saying it's a real pleasure for me to be here in this beautiful city of Sinaia. I'm very happy for the opportunity to come. And let me express my sincere thanks to Exprim for their kind invitation to join this, the 28th edition of the International Insurance and Reinsurance Forum. I'm getting a lot of feedback. Is that normal? Okay. We gather at a time of profound geopolitical transformation, not just for Europe, but for the world, from democratic shifts and fiscal pressures to disruptive technologies and accelerating impacts of climate change, from energy insecurity and tariff to protectionist reflexes that disrupt global value chains, economic realignments to shifting global power dynamics, and from growing instability to war at Europe's very doorstep. The challenges we face are no longer isolated. They're complex, deeply interconnected, and intensifying. They raise urgent questions about Europe's security, our economic resilience, and the kind of future we want to build. And they underscore a simple truth. In a world of rising risk, our industry has never been more relevant. As traditional alliances weaken, Europe is being called upon to redefine its role on the global stage. In this moment of uncertainty, we must stand united, remain true to the European project, and continue to place our trust in our institutions. And let's be honest, this is no small task. Turning to regulation, while it's often well-intentioned, it's not always designed with the realities of our industry in mind. Too often, European and national policymakers overlook our sector. And when it comes to their attention, it's frequently viewed as a challenge to be addressed rather than an essential solution. So let me be very clear. Regulatory complexity has become a critical challenge for our industry. If we look back to 2012, insurers were navigating around a dozen major EU-level legislative files. Today, that number has grown to nearly 70. Many of them are increasingly technical, sometimes overlapping, and not always fully aligned across European policymaking bodies. And then when you add national gold plating into that mix, the burden becomes even heavier. This has real-world consequences. Operational burdens that divert resources away from customer service and much-needed innovation. Investment disincentivized caused by regulatory change, design, and administrative friction. And ultimately, a potential reduction in our ability to provide a stable, affordable, and inclusive protection to Europe's citizens and businesses. This must change. Fortunately, momentum is building. The context I've just outlined has served as a wake-up call, one that has reignited political ambition and sharpened Europe's focus on what truly matters. Brussels increasingly recognizes the need for a more growth-friendly environment. The new European Commission's vision to boost competitiveness and simplify regulation is a welcome step. But now, we must ensure that ambition is matched by action. The broader environment for insurers and reinsurers is becoming more complex. Strategic autonomy and digital sovereignty might lead to protectionist measures, limiting access to essential technology like cloud services and AI. Cross-border restrictions on data transfers risk undermining the data-driven operations at the core of modern insurance. A growing focus on defense and resilience could reshape capital markets and influence long-term investment strategies. And climate change is making some risk increasingly difficult or even impossible to insure, raising fundamental questions about our role and our ability to provide affordable cover. These are not side issues. they strike at the core of what we offer: protection, stability, and peace of mind. Insurance is not just about policies and paperwork. It's about keeping hospitals running when disaster strikes, homes protected against life's uncertainties, cars safety back on the road after accidents, and businesses open and resilient in the face of disruption. It is a vital safety net that enables people and economy to recover, rebuild, and move forward with confidence. As insurers, we have a responsibility to society, and we're ready to meet it. We are long-term investors in Europe's future, supporting strategic priorities like energy, digital infrastructure, and the green transition, pillars of market stability, especially in times of economic and social stress, drivers of innovation, using AI and data to deliver smarter, faster, and more accessible protection. And lastly, we're risk carriers and risk managers. This is our core business, and Solvency II is at its backbone. Our risk-based approach is essential to protecting consumers, businesses, and our shared future. But to do this effectively, we need a regulatory environment that enables, not inhibits, progress. So in light of the challenges ahead and in alignment with Europe's agenda, at Insurance Europe, we've identified 4 strategic priorities. Strengthening the value proposition of insurance, or rather the knowledge about it. We're working to ensure that European policymakers fully understand the value that our industry brings. Too often, we're either the silver bullet or a source of risk. The reality is much more in between. We're changing that narrative with facts, data, and real-world impacts. Our other focus is to build the savings and investment union. Europe rightly wants to mobilize more private capital, but for insurers to play their full role, both as long-term investors and mobilizers of savings, that framework must work. That means simplifying the landscape for savings and pensions, removing obstacles for insurers' investments, and supporting regulatory simplification and competitiveness, especially in key ongoing discussions like Solvency II, the retail investment strategy, and FIAR. We're actively engaging with policymakers at European and national level to position insurance at the core of the European competitiveness agenda. Turning to supporting digital transformation. We support innovation, but we need coherence. From the Cloud and AI Development Act to the Data Union Strategy, digital initiatives must be aligned, interoperable, and tailored to our business model. Access to high-quality relevant data is essential, but so is ethical and transparent data use. Take vehicle data. This is no longer a technical issue. It's a matter of fairness, innovation, and consumer rights. Without a dedicated legislative framework, we risk entrenching digital gatekeepers and locking out the very actors who drive competition and choice. This isn't just about insurers. It's about over 6 million jobs across Europe's downstream automotive sector. It's about empowering consumers, and it's about ensuring that Europe remains competitive and a global leader in mobility innovation. Our 4th priority is reducing the climate protection gaps. We're facing a very tough reality. Extreme weather events are becoming more frequent and more severe. Yet too many people remain without adequate protection. Our industry has a critical role to play, not just in providing cover, but in supporting adaptation and mitigation. Building resilience requires all stakeholders to play their part. And that's why we're engaging very closely with European institutions, exploring EU-wide responses. Yes, member states start from very different places, but the EU can play a powerful role in facilitating the exchange of good practices and building resilience. We know that progress on how people, policymakers, and society perceive insurance is possible, but this is only possible when we work together across borders, across institutions, and with a clear shared purpose. The Romanian market is a strong contributor to this goal, and I want to thank Alexandru personally for his contributions on behalf of it. Through good services, innovation, responsible growth, and active engagement with policymakers, you are helping to shape the future of our industry. As said, we are at a pivotal moment, a time of challenge, but also an enormous opportunity. By working together, speaking with a collective voice, and showing the value that insurance brings to people, society, and the economy, we can help build a European future in which our industry continues to thrive and serve. We must stay focused, we must stay engaged, and above all, we must stay united. A strong insurance industry means a stronger Europe. Thank you for your attention.